you say that we're going live. I don't think we're live. I really, really doubt that. What are the chances that we're live? Like, I would say 1 out of 2, you know, but I doubt it. Anyway, hi, hello, what's up? Welcome to a Mark It Down production. This is different. It's Monday, and yet there's more than just me here. What's going on? I don't know. Honestly, this was not the plan. So this might be a little all over the place, but this is Danny's Raw fast forward, I guess. I don't know if it's going to be that fast or even that forward, but we're going to try. I'm not even going to make up names. That's how ill-prepared I was for this. My name is Danny. I usually watch Raw. Before it was cool, again, for like the third time to be watching Raw. I'm joined by a man who is just 11 of you beautiful people away from rapping and dyeing his beard. His name is Jimothy. He is proud to be here. He is a proud boy in almost every sense of the term.
What is happening? What just happened?
In almost every sense. And we are joined by the returning, borderline re-debuting, just got called back up from NXT under the new Triple H regime, Nick Manny Otis.
Wait a minute.
Welcome back.
Wait a minute.
Yes?
That's not Cameron Grimes?
Ooh.
I'm shocked.
Look, all I'm saying is if Dakota Kai can do it, I can too.
That's fair.
That's true. I'm sorry that Eric fired you. That wasn't our call, obviously. I don't want to start any problems, but James, make yourself.
Should we? So what you're saying is we should run an investigation into Eric.
Absolutely. I think he's up to some shady stuff. Did anyone else get a softball league invite from him?
Well, I feel so less special now. Oh my God. I thought he reached out to me like personally. Wow. I was just on a long list. That ruined my night.
Yeah.
I definitely did not get a softball league invitation from Eric.
There were some weird rules for this league, and very women-specific rules, and Eric's response to that was, "Who cares? We're not women." So, I think we know where he stands on a lot of things.
That sounds very Morris Park of him.
It does, yes. You can take the Eric out of Morris Park, but you can't take the NPC out of Eric. And oh my God, if anyone gets that, honestly, don't admit it. Just keep it to yourself. You shouldn't be proud to get that. But anyway, we're not off topic at all. You
can't be off topic. We didn't even start, so we're not on topic.
That's true. But
spoiler, guys. Raw was not only fast, but it was forward.
It was. It was pretty fast. The show went by pretty fast, which is a compliment because you can't usually say that about Monday Night Raw. Trust me, even with my fast forwarding, I hit a point where it's still taking forever. It's usually between 9:30 and 10:30. But, oh boy, what a show. You know what? We're going to start from the top because ultimately the main event was just whatever. So we'll get there eventually. We'll make our way there chronologically. Not in alphabetical order, but in chronological order.
Christopher Nolan would be so disappointed.
He would, and I don't want to say anything bad about him because I feel like he'll get super offended by it. So I'm just going to talk about Raw. Raw opened up with the return of the man. Becky Lynch makes her entrance. Her arm is in a sling. That's depressing. So that being said, guys, the Raw Fast Forward is actually canceled until further notice because, be honest, that was one of the main reasons I was doing Raw is because the show Becky Lynch was on. But
I do want to point out the irony of the fact that a person whose finishing move is to dislocate your arm has dislocated her arm.
Yep. I really thought that was going to be the finish at SummerSlam. I thought she was going to tap because it happened so early in the match. I thought it was part of the match, the way she was selling the arm constantly.
Oh, yeah.
So I really thought that was going to happen. So that would have been nice, but that would have been a really crazy audible call on the fly. But Becky comes out, gets a great pop. Says that at SummerSlam she remembered who she was, and it's not the fancy clothes or the need for validation, but the determination and the persistence She says that her shoulder was separated, but she was also separated from reality. And I think we've all been there, especially lately. So, relatable stuff. She says she's not defined by one match. She defines the match. She's not defined by any title. She defines the title. And there's a whole wrestling philosophical debate about who defines the title defines wrestler, or wrestler defines title. We'll get into that a whole nother time. And then she ends it with saying, she's not defined by any man. Pause to let the crowd cheer. She defines the man. Pause to let the crowd cheer again. And then she puts over Bianca because ultimately that's what the past year has been about, putting over Bianca Belair. And she's done a fantastic job of it. Bianca comes out and says, very poetically, based off what Becky said, you don't just define the man, but you are the man. So, a not so subtle, without straightforward saying, I'm the man again. Becky Lynch is the man again. She says, I'll see you soon. Hold things down. She leaves. Bianca cuts a promo, but Becky's attacked backstage by Bayley and the Huggers until whatever their name is. I'm not sure yet, honestly. And you know what? I'm going with that. I don't think they're going to come up with a better name than that. So Bayley and the Huggers attack her backstage. They fold her arm up in the chair, take her out. All done. It's a backstage beatdown because someone has a legit injury, so you can only do so much with that, but they did their best. And yeah, exciting stuff. It is a bummer that Becky is injured. That I think that to a degree dampens this incredibly hot and exciting feud that was developing between Bianca, Becky, and Bayley and the Huggers. But it just means that when Becky comes back, it turns out she would have been faced no matter what, because you leave with an injury, you're coming back to a fucking babyface reaction. But good stuff. That's how a promo should be. That's how a face turn promo should be. That's how you put over someone like Bianca, who, is a horsewoman at this point. If AW has pillars and WWE has horsewoman, she is what, the people we talk about as pillars that aren't pillars are to the horsewoman. So
is she like volume 2 of the horsewoman?
Yeah, honestly, absolutely. She is the number one of whoever else you want to put in volume 2. She's number one.
Rhea, maybe.
Yeah, Rhea for sure. I think it's her.
Oh yeah, Liv Morgan. No, I was kidding.
You're giving Liv a real hard time lately. She is really over. But
I love Liv, and it has nothing to do with popularity. It has to do with because Asuka would then be a horsewoman, but I wouldn't put her there. I think she's in her own weird tier. And Liv is the same thing. She's popular. She's really
a horse
good.
girl, probably.
No, that was definitely a Sarah Logan. Sarah Logan was definitely a horse girl.
Totally a horse girl.
But yeah, no, I love Liv. I wish WWE loved Liv sooner.
Okay, I guess I could agree with that, but
I guess I wish, similar point, I wish WWE loved Liv not because Sasha and Naomi walked out.
Oh no, I think that was going to happen regardless. I don't think Sasha and Naomi were.
I mean, apparently, I guess it's possible, but apparently that was the big reason that they decided to push Liv.
I mean, I heard that story, but what? I don't see the actual correlation there, because it's not like Naomi or Sasha were winning the singles titles.
Yeah,
so that never made sense to me, but I could see it as I guess pushing other people move.
Right. Yeah. Or the sense of oh, okay, well, we're down 2 top women, so I now need to take another one and kind of put them in another bigger spot to fill the void.
Potentially, but hey, this is Raw. I don't think Liv's even on Raw anymore.
No. I mean,
I think
traitor.
The second she loses the title, she's back on Raw. Honestly,
really?
Yeah, which is great because fuck SmackDown's women division. We're all about Raw over here. That's why we're doing a Raw fast forward. But anyway, Nick, what did you think about the actual, opening segment promos and everything? All that.
I thought it was great. I thought it was a fantastic promo on Becky's end. I mean, you give that girl a microphone and she's just going to give you gold every time. And it sets the tone. Babyface turn complete. There's no like questioning. Maybe she is, maybe she isn't. And it's also a good way to kind of get Bayley and the Huggers over. I kind of like the name. I think we're gonna stick with it until otherwise.
And I think even after otherwise, we're gonna.
Yeah, I was gonna say there is no otherwise.
I don't think there's an otherwise. Actually, I think it's Bayley and the Huggers.
In fact, they should pay us. Well, Danny, at least for the trademark.
I'll put that money into the podcast.
I think Braun Strowman on Twitter tried to call them "control your narrative" or whatever, but he's a dork. So
he is a dork.
But yeah, no, opening segment. Really liked it. Good way to start off Raw. Makes me want to watch the rest of the show. Triple H is off to a good start.
He is. And I like you said, you give back your mic, she'll cut, turn it into gold. And this really was. It was a masterclass in just turned babyface promo. She had all the points she did. And like I said, everyone looked better coming out of this. No one looked worse from this opening segment. Becky looked great. Bianca looked great. Bayley and the Huggers looked great. I would say overall it was a huge, huge win, despite the very sad fact that Becky is going to be gone for 2 to 12 weeks, looking like closer to 12 than the 2, according to WWE's statement on the fact. But James, what did you think about this fantastic promo? I'm not leading you on at all.
I think this was a good start for a good night for Bayley and the Huggers. You know, always sad to see someone be hurt, especially someone of Becky's caliber and importance on the show. Because let's be real, we don't care when minor people get hurt. I'm kidding, but
no, you're
not. We've been waiting for the face turn, and like this might be like a blessing in disguise for her because the sympathy is just going to be added on top of the anticipation, and it's great. It's great for her. I mean, it sucks that she's hurt, but if there's a silver lining, it's that. It's just going to add even more rocket fuel to this ship. And of course, Bayley and the Huggers are, they feel now like a force to be reckoned with. They were intimidating at SummerSlam, but they backed away, which made sense at the time. And even here, like, it looks cheap what they're doing, but at the same time, they are taking advantage of a smart situation and they're getting a ton of heat. I think it's awesome. And it's giving Bayley a different dynamic than the last time she was heel. Because the last time she was heel, I think she spent more time running away than really doing anything. And now she's actually just taking out the competition as opposed to running away from it. So I really did like that aspect of it. And great first segment. Really started the show off strong.
Absolutely. I do think Bayley is going to be a different heel. And I thought she was a fantastic heel before she got hurt. Literally, the only thing wrong with her heel run was that it came to a natural end, and then there was kind of not as much for her to do after.
Yeah.
But the time away you can tell how much she's missed being there. She is someone that I think drinks the WWE Kool-Aid a little bit, but right now the WWE Kool-Aid is Triple H flavored and everyone seems to love it. So It's not as bad now. Yeah.
I've seen him spit that Kool-Aid a couple of times.
I would not want a taste of that. I'm sorry.
I don't know, man. You do seem like the type of person to pay for that front row seat, but
I would.
Yeah,
I would.
It's okay. It's understandable. If you're gonna pay for a front row seat, at least be on like the camera side, TV wearing your market down shirt, But
unless it's SummerSlam and you can't see the end of the match.
Yeah, that's true. If somehow, some way, if anyone ever in any of our chats was at SummerSlam, let us know what that view was like. But that being said, fantastic start to the show. We got a women's division on fire where everyone feels like a big deal. And that's really awesome. And I can't wait for us to be back here on Wednesday saying the same exact things about AEW's women's division, no doubt. But moving on from this, oh my God, we had a night filled with, this was a hard reset. Last week at MSG was we're not doing it yet. It's all fresh. Let's just stick to the status quo. This week is hey, things are different. And yeah, there's going to be some tropes we still use. Some matches are going to still end in DQ. That's just who we are. We can't help it. But my God, was this a big deal. After playing a huge video package for the US title, they announced 2 triple threat matches where the winners would face each other for the right to face Bobby Lashley next week. Not even at Clash at the Castle, next week on Raw. The first triple threat match was The Miz versus AJ Styles versus Mustapha Ali. And you know what? I was going to insult The Miz, and I still will, but I will compliment him first. I appreciate the fact that he was selling the ribs from SummerSlam. That's very nice. I'll even throw some credit to Triple H, because maybe he was like, hey man, just sell this injury a little bit, especially that it was 2 days ago and not 1 day ago. The fact that he's selling 2 days later, take some notes, Seth Rollins. What the hell? This match was, I'm going to say this match was actually like, the first half was kind of slow, but in an incredibly fast way. Like the match, like we were 5 minutes into the match, you're like, Ali has gone through torture in this match. The fact that he's still fighting on, I'm like, the match has been 5 minutes and a commercial break. What are you talking about?
Right. What kind of torture could he have endured in 3.5 minutes? I feel
worse for the Miz right now than anyone else. Like, what are you talking about? But the second half of this match, fantastic stuff. Ali got to run wild. AJ, it's hard to compliment AJ without, sounding redundant or being corny and using phenomenal. But he was great. And Miz did his part, because Miz is fantastic at doing his job, which is playing the part of a role player. And he was great at that. And the match ended with what I thought was a fantastic sequence where Ali hit a 450 on Miz. And as he bounces off of Miz, hitting the 450, his body goes up and AJ catches him and hits a Styles Clash. Amazing finish. I wish he pinned Miz, but amazing finish. And AJ moves on. James, what did you think of this match? You're clearly busy, so that's why
I was being yelled at in our comments. I love the finish. I love the match. Anytime Ali is going for a title opportunity, I get unfairly excited because I should just know better at this point. But it was a great match. I loved him kicking out of the skull crushing finale by himself. No support, nothing. He just kicked out of a finish, and that absolute beautiful finish of the 450 into the Styles Clash. It reminded me of like AJ Styles of New Japan. It reminded me of like TNA AJ. And that's not to say AJ in WWE hasn't been amazing or TNA was amazing in his start. What happened?
Sorry, I was thinking out loud. I just said TNAJ. But... TNAJ.
It goes right next to the Y2AJ shirts. It's just it would have been a nice thing, but we never got it.
Can I just say though, on a point you made, because I think it's a really good point that brings up one of the small things I noticed in the show that I think has a Triple H tweak to it, is not only Mustapha Ali didn't just kick out of the Skull Crusher finale, but they set it up in a way where Miz doesn't look worse for it and Ali looks good for it, because Miz couldn't get to the cover right away. And that's an old school WWE thing of, you're going to kick out of this finisher, but we're still protecting the finisher. And, I'm clearly not the biggest Miz fan, but I do, for some reason, like Skull Crushing finale just because it's different. And the fact that they protected it when, it's the Miz's finisher, that was a nice little detail that I appreciated. And I think that happened one other time during the night. I think that's going to become a new part of the Triple H creative direction in WWE. But anyway, I'm sorry, James, as you were saying, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, it's quite all right. And I agree. I love that psychology. It continued the story of Miz's match against Logan Paul, and it made sense here in multiple ways. So I love that bit. And just great first triple threat, and AJ made sense as a winner, but I don't think anyone would have been upset if Ali also won. So, good match. Some fans may be disappointed, other fans excited.
Yeah, ultimately, it's not a bitter disappointment. It's like I wish it was Ali, but no one's
Exactly.
like, mad it's AJ.
Yeah, exactly.
What did you think, Nick, of this match?
Goddamn, what a way to start. It just, all I'll say is I think this was probably the most fun AJ Styles has had wrestling in like 6 years.
No way.
Maybe not 6 years. I'm probably over exaggerating, but like seriously, even like his last couple Mania matches, I was like, oh God, like he doesn't like, he's losing it, you know.
You didn't love AJ and Omos versus the New Day? That wasn't your cup of tea.
But even his match against Shinsuke, which was like, you just guaranteed classic, just felt
Yeah.
I blame that more on Shinsuke than I blame on AJ.
Which is fine.
I blame it on WrestleMania.
But I haven't seen that AJ Styles that we got tonight, maybe since his feud with Cena.
I can see that.
Yeah,
I don't know. I think watching it, I just like, he just had it. He still got it. And maybe it's the regime shift. Maybe he just, you know, was having a good night. I don't know. But AJ Styles, you did what you do.
I think it's a combination of the regime shift, because I think AJ could do this anytime, whenever he wants. But you know, I think they made a big point of it this week, because all the matches were.
But even
there was no duds on the show,
right? Even his match with Ciampa, which we'll get to later on, just great. He looked great. He looked like he was having fun.
Yeah, because it feels like he has a purpose for the first time in a while too. He's been pretty directionless for the past year. So, all great stuff. Great start to the show, or for a great start to the wrestling on the show. So far, hey, the show is 2 for 2. Just imagine that. If you had a scorecard, you would be shocked right now. But anyway. Bailey cut a quick backstage promo. They did this thing where afterwards they cross paths. Bailey and the Huggers cross paths with the Usos, who were leaving some room that Bailey and the Huggers then went into. So it makes that couldn't have been the locker room, because you know they came out and they went in. And then the same interviewer went up to the Usos like, oh cool, I guess I'll interview them now too. So that was a nice little touch of trying to make the backstage world feel real and live and like ever flowing. So, you know, it's not a huge deal, and none of the promos were particularly good or bad. They were just what they were. But, you know, it was just a nice little creative choice, I think, to set the world up. So
I agree.
You know, all the Usos said were that they are the ones, which, you know, is an interesting catchphrase. But Seth Rollins comes out, he cuts a promo, and the first note I wrote really was that, oh my God, the crowd really wants to turn Seth Rollins' face. Like,
they've wanted to for a while. They've really wanted to for a while.
But they want to turn him face so that they will inevitably turn on him as a face, because that's what's going to happen.
For like the 5th time?
Yeah, it's
right.
They always turn on him. No matter how good he is, no matter what he's doing, they get into the heel stuff, and then the moment he's a babyface and he's basically doing the same thing, they just start booing him. It's really impressive.
Well, I would say it wasn't. Look, the Fiend stuff wasn't his fault. He was just the guy there. But the way he conducts himself in interviews, that is his fault. So
yes,
you know, he's not completely blameless there. But you know, he cuts a typical Seth promo. It was good. It was very you know, stuff like that. And then the Street Profits came out, and that was interesting because, you know, that's an interaction that you wouldn't normally see because they're tag guys, and Seth Rollins is not a tag guy at the moment anyway.
Yeah, Buddy Murphy's not here anymore.
Yep. He's, even though he should be on a forklift, but you know, he's not there at the moment. But you know, the Profits have a nice interaction with the crowd where they don't say a word for like over a minute, and Seth kind of cuts the promo on himself at first.
Yep.
And then, you know, they address the tension between the Street Profits and Seth as they should split up, kind of addressing the rumors that have been going on for like 2 months the WWE wants to split up the Street Profits, even though they've done nothing on TV to show any dissension between them. That's just the report that has been out there for a while. So they pretty much squashed that by saying, yeah, this is the only way we're ever going to go against each other on TV, when they had a rock, paper, scissors game to see who would face Seth Rollins. And you know what? I don't remember. This is not important, but do you guys remember, did they do rock, paper, scissors says shoot, or 1, 2, 3?
They didn't even get that far because he just left halfway through it. I don't think, like, he just used it as a distraction, threw the cup, and then ran into the ring. So
maybe they are breaking up then. What a dick! Oh my god.
Honestly, I was kind of like, oh man, thank God they're addressing it. That means we have some time before they inevitably break up. But then he did that. I'm like, if I was Dawkins, I'd be pissed, man. I'd be pissed. My partner just screwed me out of a match.
Well, Dawkins always looks like he's really annoyed, but he can't be bothered to do anything about it or express it. And that's the most relatable quality about him.
He's just happy to be here.
Yeah. He doesn't always look happy about it, but he feels, I think that
I'm okay. I'm content to be here.
Yeah. It's fine. But then Montez Ford takes on Seth Rollins in another match that shows why Montez Ford is a future world champion, because he's so charismatic in the ring, outside of the ring, in every way possible, and he could jump higher than anyone I've ever seen in my freaking life, besides maybe the aliens in the movie Signs. I don't know. So the match was good. Put him over quickly. Weird face, James, but
I was just that was such a great connection that I would have never made, and great reference. I love that movie.
Yeah, a lot of people hate that movie, but I don't know, maybe because
I'm indifferent.
When it came out. That's fair. I'm indifferent about 90% of things, so I understand. But what were you indifferent about this match and segment?
No, not at all. Like you said, Seth, great at being a heel. Montez is like good at being a babyface that kind of sucks sometimes. Not in the sense of like his character or anything. He's spot on with everything, and like you said, future main eventer. But segment overall, fun match, great. Not much to talk about here. I don't know.
Yeah,
it hit all the checks. Yeah, at least for me.
It wasn't the longest match. It wasn't the longest segment, but yeah, like you said, it
at least
hit all the checks and did what it needed to do.
At least Seth got to wear the gear that he probably commissioned for SummerSlam.
Yeah. I don't really feel bad. I don't really feel that bad.
It's kind of cool. A lot of colors.
Yeah, it's very,
as usual.
Very colorful. Yeah, absolutely. Gotta go colors. Just real quick to BX 1743 in our chat. I would love if Ali had a really good role now that Triple H is in charge, because I think he's so good. And you know what? I have some faith now that he'll be okay. But James, what did you think of this promo and match?
I felt that this segment, from promo to pinfall, was the most NXT feeling aspect of the night. This felt like Triple H was in charge of it. Because in NXT, you'd often see guys that wouldn't necessarily make sense, like for a long feud, interact and have matches, because Triple H had a very different talent pool that he was working with. And especially in developmental, you want to get guys in the ring together as much as possible to give them as much experience. So this idea of, all right, the Street Profits probably aren't going to have a long feud with Seth Rollins, or at the very least, you don't normally see a tag team feud with a singles guy. That all felt very NXT for me. And you knew, like, they were part of his NXT at one point too. So that Triple H has some love for them. So I loved this segment. I love Montez getting to have some shine, because we're all just waiting. The countdown clock is ticking on him, and to just erupt. So great segment. I know you talked about just how high this guy can get in the ring in a non-Rob Van Dam way, but that frog splash was just like, it looked like he was going to hit the ceiling. And then landing on those knees, I don't care how cushioned you are for it, that had to suck. You know, there's no way that didn't suck. And yeah, great segment. I love the beginning of the match where Seth went for the stomp and Tez was just a little like he was prepared for it. I thought that was a great little bit because, yeah, of course, Seth Rollins is going to be a heel. And of course, like anybody who gets in the ring with him is going to be prepared for him to be just the biggest shithead ever. So great segment, great spot between these two. And I'd be interested to see if it continues to next week. Like, I doubt Dawkins is going to get a match, but maybe he does. Maybe he does. And Seth just goes over both men. And
I think they do have a match and then Riddle comes out afterwards. But you said it was like NXT, and it is, but that's also very much like WWE 20 years ago. Like,
yeah, fair.
You know, people would just have short week-to-week feuds in between their big feuds, or just one-off matches with a night-long feud with someone, you know, and on a cool-down week for their bigger feud. So I was very fine with that because, yeah, so it was an interaction I wasn't expecting to see. Even though we've technically seen them interact before, because Seth was in the tag division a couple of times over the past year and a half.
And they said it. They took the tag titles off of him.
Yeah.
In the past. So
you know, that was good stuff. But after that, we got a match kind of between Alexa Bliss and Asuka. And you know what? This was a match where it doesn't matter if it's Triple H. It doesn't matter if it's Vince McMahon. It doesn't matter if it's Shane McMahon. You just know that this match was not going to have a finish. And not have a finish indeed, because after like 8 minutes of an okay to good match, the Huggers came out and they beat up the baby faces. And, you know, that's good. That's good because they should just terrorize the women's division, especially now that Becky's out and they have to force other women into this. Who better than Alexa, who wanted to be going for the title anyway? And as much as we all love Asuka, I actually think her being in this is not a great sign. I think she's going to take a lot of pins in the next 6 to 8 weeks.
Yep. And
she's not going to look good or protected, whereas everyone else I think will. But I could be wrong. Triple H did love him some Asuka. But Triple H also loves him some Dakota Kai and some Io Sky and some Bailey. And I guess Alexa, I don't know if he has strong feelings about Alexa, but you know what? This is a weird thing. This is part of the reason why I think Alexa Bliss is the worst fans in all of wrestling. But I don't know if, like, I swear to God, you could just go in someone's tagged photos of a WWE wrestler and there'll be a picture of like Alexa with a black eye with a bunch of text under it about a conspiracy theory that she's trapped in WWE and abused there and they won't let her leave, and like Triple H and Vince were abusing her. And it's there all the time. And, you know, it's kind of why I think Alexa Bliss fans are the absolute worst. But
that's very icky. That made me feel icky.
It should.
Yeah,
you can look at it and
I don't feel good hearing that.
See, you don't feel good because it's something that sounds terrible. But if you just look at it, you'll be like, this is so stupid.
No,
and then you'll be mad at the people.
Yeah,
like,
no, exactly. Yeah. That's how I feel now.
That's my like. Why would you want to share this with the world? Why is this, of all of the things that exist on the internet?
Yeah.
Why is this the thing that you went? I want to show the people that I maybe sort of know on my Facebook or whatever.
Yeah, I mean, if you're posting stuff like that, I doubt you have many people you actually know on social media, but
or in real life, you know, like
yeah, because I think I was trying to get a picture for like some thumbnails for other Raw Fast Forwards, and I was all right. Let me just go in the tagged photos because there's always like those photographers that are at the shows that take amazing pictures, and then I would always see this and I'm like, this is the weirdest thing, but you know. It does dampen my opinion on Alexa a little bit, which is why I'm sometimes harsh on her. But, you know, that being said, you know, Bianca makes the save as they're getting beat up by the Huggers. She challenges any one of them to a match. According to Eric, she was a terrible promo and she can't do it. Can't talk on the microphone, but that's whatever. we'll talk about this all later. I just wanted to set the scene because this is going to come back up later. So we'll move on to the second triple threat match of the night. You know what? Triple threats are divisive for some reason amongst wrestling fans, but I've always been fond of them. I like a good multi-person match. I don't like when they're overused. And, doing it twice in one night sounds bad, but when they're directly connected to each other, that's fine by me. But this triple threat was a lot weaker than the first one. It was Ciampa, Gable, and Ziggler, and the crowd was not into it because as great as Gable is, he is a jobber and he's a tag guy. As great as Ziggler was, he's
it's
Italian,
2022.
essentially.
It's 2022.
He's a jobber and a tag guy.
Yeah. And I don't think the crowd fully knows that he's a face yet. I think they're a little confused on that. And then there's Ciampa, who is fantastic, but he's not NXT Ciampa until tonight anyway. So the crowd doesn't care about him because he's just Miz's lackey.
Yeah.
So the crowd had no one to really care about in this match. And I don't actually blame the crowd on this one. But Triple H persevered with this plan anyway because nepotism, because he wants his guy, his little look-alike, his son that's only a few years younger than him to persevere and get his push. And oh boy, did he. This had another cool sequence where Gable was doing the Chaos Theory rolling German suplex, and then Ziggler hit both of them with the zigzag, kind of. It was really cool. And that was only a near fall. And the match ended with a great knee, followed by a fairy tale ending by Ciampa, who gets the big win because this is the renaissance of Ciampa after weeks and weeks, really just like 5 weeks of being Miz's lackey. He is now finally going to get out from the tyrannical thumb of the Miz, even though I actually think this is the first time where this pairing has actually worked. And I actually want to see them together a little bit, with Ciampa being successful and Miz not being successful. But Ciampa wins. I know you guys are happy, but why don't you surprise me and tell me what you guys thought of this match, James?
I mean, it makes me feel bad for Gable because I truly think he's the most underrated guy in WWE. I think he,
to an extent, I agree.
I think he has all of the ability, and I think he has. I know it's unfair to make this comparison, and I know everyone makes it anyway. I think he has all the tools to be a modern Kurt Angle, and they just will never really let him get to that level.
See, but he never broke his neck, so how can you say that?
That we know of. Maybe he's just shy about it. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I don't have him on my speed dial.
How many gold medals does he have with a broken freaking neck?
Again, I don't know him that well on a personal level. Maybe he won like a bunch and he's shy and he doesn't want to talk about it. And he's like, somebody did it first. I don't know. I wasn't at the Olympics. I'm one of like, I couldn't get a ticket. So I couldn't get a ticket. Who wouldn't try? Like
he's really being Kurt Acute Angle here, man.
I am not being obtuse though. But anyway, it was a good match. I've been a Ciampa fan since Ring of Honor, so this, I'm just so happy that this guy is getting exposure on national TV, and he doesn't have to do it with Vince McMahon overseeing him. So I was happy that he won. I wanted AJ versus Ciampa. I said it when we were reviewing SummerSlam that I wanted that match to happen. And I'm glad that we got it. And I'm not thrilled with the Miz Ciampa combo, but there is kind of like backing for it that even goes to NXT when he was like calling himself Tommy Entertainment and all those things. And he was reveling in being a sports entertainer. He was kind of doing the Jericho Appreciation Society shtick before Jericho did it. So I differently, but like he had those like basic like fundamentals, and if that is me doing mental gymnastics to make this make sense, I'm gonna do it just because I'm happy he's on TV and getting wins, and I say wins plural.
I mean, it was a depressing pairing. It's a depressing pairing until this week. I think this was the first week where it wasn't sad to see the two of them together. So look at the magic. Triple H. Man, we are We are easily brainwashed. Holy shit. We are way too on board with this, way too fast. You know what? Triple H is only an okay wrestler. There we go. I got to take him down to earth a little bit. We're being a little too nice to him. Okay, so that being said, what did you think about this second triple threat match, Nick?
So very happy that Tommaso Ciampa won. Makes me think about just talking about Ring of Honor. Makes me thinking about how I watched this man lose a match to the absolute worst human in the world in Michael Elgin, and now here he is on Raw, winning twice in one night, which is 2 more times than he has on his entire time in the main roster. So, hooray! Great. I love
that. Was a hard
Ciampa.
thing to hear. That was a hard thing to hear, but damn.
But am I look,
it's real. It's legit.
Yeah,
it's just
wow. And that's like there's this level of like, I never wanted Ciampa to go to the main roster because I knew what was happening to him was going to happen. Because the way he presented himself in NXT worked because it was in NXT.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think that like under the Vince era, did it make sense to him? He didn't get it. Like Vince in his mind always needs to have a character or something in mind for his wrestlers. And I think that became very apparent to me when he was like kind of reluctantly pushing Riddle, but also was kind of like, I don't get you. Like, I don't get it.
I mean, look, this is wrestling. And it's what separates it from genuine, honest to God, legit combat fighting. There are characters. This is a soap opera, but like with physicality. I don't mind a wrestler being an over-the-top character. And truth be told, I think NXT Ciampa was an over-the-top character.
Oh, 100%.
It's just, I don't want to keep doing...
It's a character Vince wouldn't get.
Exactly.
It's a psychologically complex character.
Exactly.
Vince loves characters, but not characters like that. Vince loves...
One note.
He loves the Rock's movies. He doesn't like Christopher Nolan movies.
He likes Vince likes what's going to immediately make him money. And like what about his character can he market to a massive audience? You know, that's why people like The Fiend work, because you can just, mask, sell it to the kids, gloves, sell it to the kids. Everything about you works. It's marketable. Person like Ciampa, they're not going to be like, sell them his jacket. And it's kind of like it's kind of like what they did with Cross, and how like Cross's character in NXT was perfect. It had layers, it had the entrance, it had blah blah blah, and then when it came to the main roster, it was kind of like, okay, well, what about you is marketable other than being big bald wrestler?
I mean, it was Scarlett, and they didn't give her to him. So
100%.
Well, I don't want to get into a whole thing about that neo-Nazi, so we're gonna move on. I'm just assuming, honestly, he could be a perfectly fine guy.
I've heard.
I get a vibe.
I've heard him. It's hilarious because I've heard absolutely nothing but nice things about Cross and Scarlett.
I mean, I will say I'm pretty sure he's part of the Control Your Narrative crew. And take that what you will. So take of that what you will. But I think I think that's a if there was a flare that I could shoot, I think that's a pretty big one.
Yeah,
turns out I'm Nostradamus about that actually. So there we go.
But yeah, so a little bit of a tangent there. The match was good. The crowd just sucked tonight. I gotta say it.
It really did.
Texas really, like, man, if they put that show on in Brooklyn, the crowd would have went insane.
I was at the MSG show. I would have killed for today's show.
If they put that crowd in Brooklyn, would have been great. If they put that crowd in Manhattan, it would have been great. If they put that crowd in Queens, would have been great. If they put that crowd in Staten Island, no one would have been there.
I would never. They would have gotten robbed.
I don't even know how to get to Staten Island, so it's just impossible. No one knows how to get there. It's insane.
It's not real.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's not. We have 4 boroughs and an idea.
We have zero. We have zero evidence of Staten Island being a place.
Yeah,
I've never been on the Staten Island ferry before, but I have a very, very good idea that it's not going to bring you to Staten Island.
Absolutely, it definitely doesn't. That shit's a trap. I'm sure you've seen people get on it. Have you ever seen them come back? Doubt it. Not happening. So that's ridiculous.
I've never heard someone say I came home on the Staten Island ferry.
That's just not a thing. When I was at Planet Fitness, one of my employees lived in Staten Island, and I was like, yeah, no fucking way, dude. You're not crossing the water to get here on a boat. You're not getting on a boat for this minimum wage job. Get the hell, go clean the bathrooms, get out of here with your nonsense. Actually, he's one of my favorite employees, and he's a subscriber of ours. So shout out to you. You know who you are. But that being said, yeah, Texas was not.
It's probably Steve
not
Blackman.
The best crowd. They were kind of cold. You know, they were pretty frozen. You know, they were ice cold. You know, they just did not have it, except for Ted Cruz. He wasn't cold. He was very warm. But they're just not the best crowd. They're very hit or miss. Why does WWE go to Corpus Christi? That's one of the good things the pandemic has brought us, is that they haven't gone to Corpus Christi in
Thank God.
years.
I will say too, Booker T gets announced and he's out, and no one cared. And I get it. I don't like Booker T. I think I don't like modern now Booker T.
Not wrestler Booker T.
No,
yes.
right.
Yeah. Booker T. Huffman, not cool. Booker
right.
T. the wrestler, amazing.
Shucky Ducky Quack Quack Booker T. all day. Great. Love it.
Saying the N word on live TV, Booker T. Fantastic. Great stuff.
Right. You know, I'm sure Hulk Hogan loved that.
He did. For weird reasons, but he did.
For weird reasons, all right.
Oh God.
It was a different time. Texas, Texas doesn't care. It's Texas. That's your boy, and
they just had WrestleMania, you know, and I get it's a WrestleMania crowd, but they have so many big wrestlers from Texas. I don't know. I think the crowd was good for the first hour, and then they just died after that, honestly.
Yeah.
Because they were good for the first triple threat. They were good for the Becky Bianca segment, and then after that, they kind of died. But I don't know. Texas, you're great. Cracker Barrel's great. I
like their Roadhouse.
Arlington Stadium was the best baseball stadium in the world. I'm sure now other stadiums have renovated and surpassed it, but it was fantastic. By the way, the Mets are on a 7-game winning streak.
Nope, don't care. Nope.
You know, that streak started when they swept the Yankees in the Battle of New York, where the good guys came out on top. But anyway, we were talking about wrestling, James, so stay on topic. After that, Edge came out with his old, better, superior music, and he said he's going to end the Judgment Day. And Edge, I'm just going to throw you some free advice. If you really want to end the Judgment Day, just ignore them. They'll be off TV in 3 weeks. They fucking suck. So, and we'll get back to the Judgment Day and Edge later. We're not talking about them now. We don't got time for that bullshit. We're moving on to Io Sky, right?
Sky Shrat. We're there.
Yeah. It was Io versus Bianca in a just Triple H Miss NXT match, and it was a fun match. But like with the other women's match on the show, you just knew there was gonna be some screwy finish. But I will defend it in this case. I think the DQ was the right move. Because you don't want to pin Io Sky on her first match with this new name in this new group. And you don't want to pin Bianca, your champion, after having the biggest and or second biggest win of her career than 2 nights earlier. So the DQ was a fine finish because the match was great and the DQ felt warranted. It felt earned, and it still felt special. The crowd didn't boo the bell ringing. So as much as this crowd was maybe like a C+ crowd at best, they didn't boo the DQ because a brawl ensued, and they were very cool with that. So fun stuff. The refs separated everyone because, at some point Alexa and Asuka came down, and they looked so lame in comparison to everyone else, but still cool overall. But fun stuff. Match was great. Io looked great. Bianca looked good. The faction still looked strong. And I'd say this was a slow night considering, because who knows what the plan would have been if Becky didn't hurt herself. So being that this was a scrambled, almost slower night for them, fine start, good match. What did you think, Nick?
Fine, like you said, fine match. One thing weird thing that I noticed was they put Io back in her old ring attire before she had the Poppy's My Best Friend gimmick. Which I know was maybe an odd thing to notice, but I love NXT and I've watched enough NXT to kind of catch something like that, which is an odd thing to catch.
If you love NXT so much, how come you haven't done any NXT fast forwards?
Because you're so cool and handsome and amazing.
Hey, Danny will 100% not fall for that flattery. I will, but Danny will not.
I mean,
wait,
James,
so are you falling for his flattery of me in this scenario? Or...
Yes, I'm very protective of you, and you are handsome.
Gotcha. I mean, I know, but thank you guys. You were saying about Io's outfit. Sorry.
Yeah, right. So yeah, no, I love Io Shirai and I love Dakota Kai and I love everything that's happening in women's wrestling in the WWE right now, which is an odd thing to say because if those words came out of my mouth a week ago, I probably would have done some bad stuff to myself.
Fair.
That's fair.
I mean, don't do that, but fair.
Right. No. We don't have to worry about it now, but
how much a week difference is, like
yeah, right.
Out here saving lives, Triple H. What a guy! I went from burying people to resurrecting them.
Triple H is my dad at this point.
You got to get a picture of them just doing the point.
Yeah, right. That's my dad.
Guys, we have an important question in the chat that we're definitely the people to answer. Ethan asked, he's got Ethan, that's his use. How early did you get on YouTube? Anyway, should Brock Lesnar already be in the UFC Hall of Fame?
Absolutely, without question.
Nick, you definitely watch UFC, right? What do you think?
Okay.
There you go.
Yeah,
yes.
There we go. Question answered. You're so welcome. Thank you, Ethan.
Nobody has done what Brock Lesnar has done in the UFC. Okay, no matter what happened by the end of his career there, he had a meteoric rise that no one has been able to replicate, and he is a freak of nature. And even Dana White will tell you that. And Dana White doesn't even really fucking like Brock Lesnar anymore. But it's the truth. So yes, Brock Lesnar, UFC Hall of Fame.
See, I get, by that logic, CM Punk should be in the Hall of Fame because he did something that no one else was able to do, which was get me to watch a UFC fight.
I mean, maybe he's in your own personal Hall of Fame. Like everybody asks, what's your Mount Rushmore of whatever? So in your Mount Rushmore of UFC, it's just CM Punk.
Yeah. And it's like falling apart because, obviously. But yeah. Anyway, back to what we were talking about. Yeah, James, what did you think of Sky versus Bianca?
I was really nervous at first just because I think we're all sort of in this, if anybody's going to take the pin for Bayley and the Huggers, it's going to be Io. So I'm really glad that we avoided it so far. Night one, doing great. Good match. And I was, the DQ made sense. Everyone was protected. I hope that we don't get a lot of these DQ finishes. I hope that we get some genuine matchups and genuine finishes, but good bit. I mean, look at the people involved. Of course, it's going to be good. Did they ever interact in NXT? I don't think they did.
Who?
Bianca and Io.
Yeah, they definitely did.
Did they?
Think so.
I think they had a few matches.
But were they on the same team? Like, I think they did War Games
Bianca
together.
was still a heel for.
Yeah.
Bianca was a heel.
Maybe
much
early.
All of NXT.
I think earlier, like when Io was getting pushed maybe as a heel or as a face or whatever, and Bianca, I feel like I've definitely seen them.
I don't think they had a feud, but
there was no big takeover match.
Gotcha.
Yeah, no, absolutely not. But they definitely had like a match when Io was face and Bianca was heel. I think right before Io went after Charlotte for the title, I think she knocked off Bianca, and they definitely had matches before that. But
Bianca right, that
100% a heel, like for all of NXT pretty much, except for like the last month or two, and I don't even know because I did kind of stop watching at that point. But yeah, people are gonna take pins in this, but you don't want to have it where 2 weeks in and then Io and Dakota have both been beaten by Bianca, because then the group's already Retribution, the group's already Judgment Day, it's already a weak falling apart group. Like you need to draw these things out. Like Io can get pinned by Bianca for sure, but build up to it. Now they didn't happen this match. Now you pay it off on their next match, which maybe you do next week, but you should push it off another week. Have a good promo segment between them, because they haven't really interacted face to face, like talk to each other yet. So you can do that next week, then have another match. You can have Kai beat Alexa Bliss, or Kai beat Asuka, or Io beat Asuka, or Io beat Alexa Bliss. I do think Alexa and Asuka are the expendable people in this, and that's okay. I've come to terms with Asuka in WWE, and that's just.
I hate to admit that, because
it sucks.
You really think back to like the heyday of Asuka and how she was just this, like, everyone was so excited, especially like the main roster call up. I don't think there's one other person that I was more excited to see come up to the main roster than Asuka.
I'm more optimistic here. I think
this is so. I'm so sorry for cutting you off.
No, you're good.
Always cut off James.
But I feel like this is, like you said, this is a new era. Now Triple H is booking everything. Who knows how he handles Asuka going forward? Who knows how he handles Alexa Bliss? I think it's easy to say, well, this person's going to eat the pin, but we also don't know what we're really expecting here.
True.
This is all kind of new, and all we have to base off of it is his booking of NXT, which I would say overall was always very good. So,
well, if we're going based on his booking of NXT, then Dakota Kai's taking all the pins. But
unfortunately,
I think her reinventing herself is going to go a long way in protecting her in this. At least I hope so. I'm projecting. I clearly have a type of female wrestler that I like, but
colorful hair.
Yeah, honestly, it's that. But we'll see how it goes. I'm optimistic. We're optimistic about it, and that's the best part, is that we're excited, and there's so many ways it can go. There's so many variables, and that's just refreshing. That's not honestly too new for the Raw Women's division, but now it's just completely stacked as compared to the way it was. But that was the segment. To move on before we get too far, where was Bray? If not now, then when? Probably never, honestly.
Ideally.
I think he's gone off the boil. I think his mind is so far past the storytelling that he can do in WWE that he's just going to come out with like 3 really good horror movies and 8 really bad ones. And then half of those really bad ones are going to be so bad they're enjoyable. So overall, it's going to be like a net neutral sort of thing. And then we'll see. I'll ask. I have a bunch of horror movie friends. I'll ask them what they think after they come out. But and also Sasha, that's the thing with Sasha. You can bring her in literally anytime, and it'll feel special. It'll be a big deal. Isn't it so funny how no one says Naomi when we talk about this? They just say Sasha, and it's not really funny because it's kind of boring, there's no one, unless you follow like TMZ and like DUI arrest, you wouldn't know who it was. But not that she did it.
She is totally innocent there, and I say that. And I do really like Naomi. I think I've seen some decent Naomi matches. I think she is solid in the ring. I've never seen her really. Oh no, that's not true. She doesn't often look bad. in the ring.
Naomi is good. I would say I don't mean this in a demeaning way. I would say she's like a solid B in terms of
I've never seen a Naomi match that made me go, wow.
Yeah.
But I've always came out of them and gone, okay, especially in like the multi-woman matches. I'm like, all right, she fits.
And she's so athletic and she has the presentation. She can't cut a promo. She's
a product of like WWE bringing in athletes, not wrestlers, that had a good outcome. I would say better than anyone expected.
Absolutely.
When she was with Cameron, I was like, oh, this girl's going to be gone in 6 months.
Yep. But it turns out that Brodus Clay was the one who was gone. But Naomi's biggest problem is it's the same thing with Natalya and Ziggler. She's just been there too long. It's kind of like, there's a new regime, but it's hard for certain people to wash off the stink of the past decade plus. And for her, I think it's now reaching a decade. So that's too long to be in.
Listen, if Tamina can do nothing for 10 years and then finally win a championship, I think Naomi has maybe
you're really trying to piss Chad off with this Naomi shit, but Naomi won her championship. She got her moments, and they were good moments.
They were.
And I just don't need that again. Like I don't. Like that's the thing is, well, one, I will jokingly say the nepotism of it all, but like I genuinely do think that, and it makes me not dislike Naomi, but resent her a bit and dislike the situation. Whereas Sasha, I have mixed feelings about it, but ultimately Sasha's really good. So her being back would just be special. Whereas Naomi being back would just be neat at best. So there's no way.
She's not going to do anything. She's just going to kind of fit back into her like, okay, we need someone this week.
They're going to come back and they're still going to inexplicably be the NXT, just the women's tag team champions. And we're just going to pretend that the belts never really went away.
They're going to show up with the belts. And I think now more so than ever, obviously, like they introduced a new team and they're just going to kind of come up with the, like, I think they're going to give it a second shot.
That would be awful.
They're going to say that they've been defending them across the world. All the footage was lost.
Defending them at Rolling Loud and
God.
Absolutely. Sasha Q's a soft reboot. She hasn't ever really changed her character. I think that's a criticism of her I've been bringing up that flies under the radar because, like you said earlier in our chat, she has some of the most militant fans out there. So, like, she gets away with never changing. But, she is great. So, but moving on, we get the culmination of the triple threat saga throughout the night. We have Ciampa versus AJ, a dream match that we actually had a few weeks ago, and AJ squashed him because Ciampa was just the Miz's lackey a couple weeks ago, whereas now Miz is the lackey because Triple H this is borderline nepotism. This is like literally like you're my fucking favorite child, and I am going to fix what our grandpa did, or your grandpa and my dad did, and I'm gonna make things right. And this match was good. The knee that he caught, that he countered the phenomenal forearm with, was so crisp, spot on, loved it. The Styles clash that AJ hit, terrible, hated it. I thought Ciampa was gonna die. Shit, that was bad. Ciampa could not get in position. AJ kept not being able to hook the second leg around. It was scary for a moment, but everything worked out fine. And through good heel shenanigans, I will say this was good heel shenanigans. Miz cleverly held AJ's leg as he was on the other side of the barricade by the ring announcers area, so that AJ could barely beat the 10 count and then walked right into a knee and a fairy tale ending, making Ciampa the winner, making Ciampa the guy to go on and probably tap out to Bobby Lashley next week. But ultimately, like you guys have said already throughout the show, Ciampa got 2 wins, not just one, count them, 2 wins in one night. And now he's going to lose next week, and maybe he'll get a win the week after that. Or maybe he'll win, and I'll love that, honestly, because then that'll make the him and Miz story very, very interesting. But ultimately, let's not get too far ahead of ourselves. Nick, what did you think of this match? Besides your overwhelming love for Ciampa being pushed,
things are coming up, Ciampa, man. I am in love with it. I thought the match was great. Like you said, that knee, holy shit, and they undersold it. When I think about some of the big springboard catch finishes that have happened, and how much people like Michael Cole and Corey Graves have sold those, they were just kind of like, oh, great knee, good job. He countered the phenomenal forearm. I was kind of like, that was so much cooler than they made it sound. Maybe I need to go back and listen. Maybe I'm wrong, but it felt so. They felt so underwhelmed by it for something that I thought was just a beautifully timed counter. The match itself was a lot of fun. Like I said, AJ Styles looked great, and I think this is the most fun he's had wrestling in God knows how long. And I think it should have main evented Raw.
Ooh,
I mean, considering the alternative,
I don't disagree with that at all.
I think
this
that
or the Io Bianca match.
I think Ciampa ending Raw with a win would have been an interesting way to go out, but I would not have hated it. We will get to the ending of Raw. I will talk about it, but we will save that for when we get there.
Joke's on you. We're not talking about the ending of Raw. But,
thank God. Well, then I have a lot to say.
So yeah, I don't know. I can't remember how the commentators reacted, but yeah, I don't think it was warranted as the spot deserved. But also, this was the part of which I get. It's to make it feel like a bigger deal. It's the hometown pop, which I will defend the totally innocent, never done anything wrong in the history of ever state of Texas a little bit, and say that I think he got a pop when he came out, but wasn't that during commercial? Because when they came back, they just said, "Oh, joining us." The commentary was Booker T, so we didn't get to hear the pop to the music as much as
that's fair. Pop. I always forget how these shows work. In
normally they would have had the entrance, honestly, so I don't know why they didn't, but that's whatever. That's not that big a deal. Booker T is a fucking shill, but he didn't make the commentary.
Although I'm very curious to see how his tune changes in the coming
it's not going to
months.
He still has a WWE contract, so nothing's gonna change. It's just a different person is signing the check.
Yep. God. All right. How long do you think before Road Dogg comes back?
Oh boy.
God.
I mean, I guess better here than in AEW.
Where he's literally been begging for a job in AEW.
I don't understand.
Talks them in the same breath.
He's negging them. That's the secret.
This guy said he really went on social media and said, "I don't understand why Tony Khan won't give me a job. I will go there and I will fix all of the things that I think are wrong with AEW." Like, could you be more just so fucking oblivious?
He's 100% that guy who's like, I was in like one of the coolest groups of all time,
right?
And it was because of me. He's that guy.
He's Kid Rock.
Oh.
He's the Kid Rock.
Speaking of Kid Rock, we
will not talk about Kid Rock here. This is a safe space. Okay. No. Moving on.
All I'm going to say,
I didn't want to,
is he had a very busy week in the world of professional wrestling, whether it was at SummerSlam or Ric Flair's retirement to Electric Boogaloo. Kid Rock was omnipresent this weekend.
Weirdly enough,
pro wrestling.
I'd rather talk about Kid Rock than Ric Flair, but I will say about Road Dogg that I lost respect for Road Dogg like years ago when he was like one of the most outspoken people trying to defend the booking of Charlotte versus Becky when Becky first turned, saying, "Oh, that was always the right plan." The fans just didn't want to let it play out, or the fans didn't understand the story. And it's like, no, we had to dictate the story, you know. But anyway, that's a whole nother. That's a special episode of the Markdown podcast I'll make when we get to 200 subscribers.
Does anyone remember Road Dogg's weird YouTube show with Josh Matthews where they were locked in a basement watching old WWE videos?
Jesus, no, that sounds terrifying.
Yeah, that sounds like a really bad high I don't want to have anymore. But yeah, that's pretty much it with this show. I guess we'll talk about the main event real quick. I don't really care, but the Mysterios obviously because they're chumps lost to the Usos, who weren't going to just randomly drop the tag titles to a couple of losers like the Mysterios. And the match was fine because they're always fine to good, and you could probably even say it was good, but I thought it was fine because I fast forwarded because I don't care at all. Like, I'm sick of the Usos being champ. I'm sick of Dom and his stupid hair and stupid face and his weird existence. And I'm not. Ray is cool. You're fine, Ray. Break up with your son. Move on.
How is it that only the WWE has made Rey Mysterio feel so like unimportant?
They've done it for years.
Well, no, Ray has made himself feel unimportant.
Ray
Mysterio is the Will Smith of WWE, where he's spending so much time trying to build up his son's career that it is detrimental to his own.
But
Rey Mysterio never rapped with Joyner Lucas in a song about Rey Mysterio. You know, I guess I'm sure you can make some sort of analogy in Ray's career. Maybe him coming back jacked in 2018.
Right. And that's kind of where my head was at. He left, he went, he got in great shape, had some of the best matches probably of his career out on the indies. Killed a guy. Yep. It was an accident. He didn't,
that's what they all say.
That's
I love how
he's a good
outraged by what I say.
He's a good man, Daddy.
My eyes bulged. I didn't say anything. I was just
you have that oh no face, and then you're like, yeah, I'll get in on that.
He's a good man, Danny. He gets a little cranky when he drinks. Anyway,
I love this show now.
Back to let's leave murder mysteries in the past right now. But he came back and I was so excited because this is brand new Rey Mysterio. He looks great. He's gonna have some great matches, and for a while he did. His matches with Andrade on like 7 different episodes of Raw were fantastic every time. And now just back to not caring. I don't know.
I mean, it's a combination. Like, it's Ray's fault because he shouldn't have gone back, but it's WWE. WWE is so weird with legends because they either push them way too hard or beat them constantly.
Yeah,
you're either one of two type of legends, and that's where
you're Brock Lesnar or you're Jeff Hardy.
Excuse me, but yes, man, you're walking around landmines bringing up Andrade and Jeff Hardy here. I'm being nice. I'm having such a great time with you guys. I don't want to make James's night any worse. I would never want to do that. So I'll let these things go, even though we're talking about people getting cranky when they're drunk and potentially killing people. But I'll let these things go. And Andrade is just whatever. We don't have to talk about him right now. But yeah, the tag match was whatever. It was whatever to good at best. Of course, the Usos won, but it's all about the angle afterwards. And afterwards, the Judgment Day came out and started beating them up. And I like the reoccurring theme that Rhea is easily beating up Dom, because that's the most believable thing I think I've ever seen in wrestling. I would be mad if Dom was in any way getting the upper hand on Rhea. I would not believe that in a second, because Dom doesn't even look like he works out, whereas Rhea works out more than half
I
the roster.
wouldn't believe it if anyone in the ring tonight got the upper hand on Rhea. I'm pretty sure she could probably beat up every man that was in the ring with her.
That's honestly fair.
I would say maybe not Damian Priest, but that's just because of size.
Damian Priest, well,
Finn and Edge, I do believe, especially because Edge is like
Edge is the same size.
Yeah, but Edge is frail and like he could fall apart real easily at any point. Whereas, you know, Damian Priest is healthier, you know, and he's way more jacked.
Subjective.
No, Edge is on borrowed time. He's on
both, I don't know. They're both like, I don't know how old's Edge. Is he still in his 40s?
Late 40s.
Late 40s. They're both in their late 40s. Yeah, I always think Priest is like in his 40s for some reason.
I mean, Danny thinks the same of Ciampa.
Like, I mean, Ciampa's like 59,
in my head,
59 or 60.
In my head, Damian Priest is like a 46-year-old man.
I mean, understandable, because
he's got a great skincare routine. Then, like, he's just killing it on the skincare routine.
I mean, it's the New York water.
How does he have a great skincare routine if he's a 38-year-old man that Nick thinks is 46? I think that's the opposite, actually. I think it's a bad
skincare it has nothing to do with his skincare. I think it's just, I don't know. He just looks like an older man.
Yeah, it does. But the point is, he hasn't had a career-ending injury like Edge has. So therefore, Rhea, all she has to do is, you know, get Edge in the right spot, and boom, he's falling apart. She could obviously beat up Ray. She could obviously beat up Dom. She could beat up Finn. Abs don't help you win a fight. Sorry, Finn. Like, it's just not how it works. But, you know, and these are three guys from the Bronx. So, you know, we know what we're talking about. Don't let the whiteness fool you, okay?
Paleness. It's paleness here.
Nick's been in mosh pits, and I'm from the Bronx, and James is here. But
James was on TV.
Yeah, James was on TV. You don't even know, okay? You don't even know what he learned on TV. None of us do. See, was that not endearing? Doesn't that make you not want to fight him, actually?
I think that was exactly what they showed him on MTV.
Probably.
I'm wearing less spandex now.
Which is weird, because it would be somewhat appropriate right now, but you know, that's okay. But the point is, Edge came out, he made the save. He speared Dom, which is like, you know, supposed to be a ooh thing, but it's really like the coolest thing you've done. Yeah. That's the best thing you've done since you came back. And this shouldn't have been the main event, because the Mysterios are losers. Judgment Day are losers. Edge and the Usos aren't losers, but they don't cancel each other out, because the Judgment Day are Retribution 2.0. The Mysterios are like the Viking Raiders before they changed their character. Actually, that's kind of harsh on the Viking Raiders, because they weren't beaten all the time. They just weren't on TV all the time. So I don't have a good comparison right now, but this shouldn't have been the main event. This was a somewhat limp ending to a really, really good show. I would say overall, this show was like a 4 out of 5, maybe a 4.20 out of 5, maybe a 7.10 out of 10. It was a good show. A great. This really does feel different. This feels like the beginning of something special going on for Raw. And I thought it was great, great start. And I'm very optimistic for next week, I was optimistic for this week after SummerSlam, and this week has me optimistic about next week. And
that's a good pattern.
That feels great. That's what should be happening. Shows should be building into each other. Shows should be building into pay-per-views. And who knows? I feel like Clash of the Castle is going to be really special. But what did you guys think of? You can talk about the match if you want, but if you want to talk about how the show ended, or just the overall how you felt about the show, Nick, what did you think?
I mean, all right. I mean, the match is fine. I kind of like the ending spot. You know, looks like Dom's gonna hit the 619, and then of course the Usos are able to hit the I guess they're calling it the 1D, not the 3D.
because one and done. Because you see, you're the twos, and they're the ones. You singularly are the twos, Nick, and they.
Me specifically, me, Nick Maniotis is the two.
What am I?
No, you're the twos, not
the twos. The twos. I'm multiple twos. Okay.
Yeah, and they're the ones. You know.
All right.
What am I?
Or James, what's
your thing? 3.
Oh, that felt. Anyway, going, Nick.
The match, finish to the match was fine. I did not expect. I almost would have been very angry if the Mysterios won because it's just like they're not the team to do it.
I don't want.
I don't think.
Who is the team to do it? Who is the team to do it?
Were the team to do it.
Yeah. It's got to be. It's got to be a team that does not currently exist.
Darby Allin and Sting,
or a team that has not been called up.
DIY.
Not a bad idea. Yeah, I'm also not opposed to putting Bait and Seven back together and calling Mustache Mountain up.
They just broke them up. They can't.
I know.
FTR are in the hunt for more titles. You could.
But does anyone who's watching NXT UK really care that Bait and Seven are mad at each other?
I mean, you are the only person watching it, so let us know.
If they're watching NXT UK, then they have to care.
I mean, to be fair, you say that, but you also brought up the point that they just broke them up. So maybe
I keep up with what the cool kids watch.
I don't watch it. I'm at work when it's on TV because it's on at 2:00 in the afternoon on a Thursday.
Yeah.
I'm just like in the middle of my work day. I'm not watching.
You're clearly watching One Life to Live, folled by General Hospital at 2 and 3 in the afternoon. You don't have time to watch
NXT UK. No, yeah. Wrestling's nighttime stuff.
Yeah, exactly.
You watch the quick notes version on YouTube. So now for the fun part of the conversation. I will say, very glad that Metalingus is back. I don't know what the hell that theme song was on Saturday night. It was like the Brood, but also generic. It just wasn't. I'm glad Metalingus is back. That's probably the only positive thing I have about that ending. I don't think I said this in the chat before. I don't think in the history of professional wrestling have I ever seen someone need to be checked out by medical staff because of an Edge spear.
Other than maybe Edge himself.
Yeah, right. Dominic Mysterio being the first person ever kind of makes sense.
Yeah, because he's not in shape to take wrestling moves.
Right. But what really drove me home on this was not only did they call medical staff, but Edge immediately jumped out of the ring and started chasing Finn Balor and Damian Priest through the arena and just kind of left Ray to deal with this, which you just speared.
You don't want to hang out with Dom,
right? But you just speared the son of this person who's supposed to be one of your best friends, and you immediately just go, "Oh, I'm gonna go chase after the guys that beat me up once." Or whatever.
Did Edge's Judgment Day go after Ray and Dom at any point, or was that recently, only a Finn Balor?
It's only been Finn Balor's.
Okay.
Edge literally, I think, only went after Finn Balor and AJ.
Well, he went after AJ. Yeah, Edge went after bigger fish, whereas Finn immediately was like, "You know who would be good in this group?
Dominic Mysterio." Yeah.
Oof. That literally is why I say they're retribution.
That's a good way.
Ali was like, you know who'd be good for this group? Ricochet, who's never won a match on TV in the past year. It's the same thing. It's the same. It's so bad. But yeah, the spear is the worst. I've said it multiple times in this podcast. I don't like the spear as a finisher. I think it's a setup move, but
overall, as a show, Raw did get me very excited to watch next week. Got me very excited to want to check out Friday too. I want to watch SmackDown and see if it's a lot of the same style of booking.
I don't want to go that far, but
yeah, I was gonna say.
I'll check what happens.
Again, I don't know who's on SmackDown. So like, there's the Drew McIntyre's there, Sheamus is there. I don't know,
but it's wrestling on a Friday night. It's hard.
You're fair. That's fair. That ending definitely did not get me excited for next week. I think the angle itself was a good idea. I think the way it was executed wasn't very good. And I will say again that I wish that the Ciampa win would have ended Raw. I think that would have been a better ending.
I completely agree with that.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Real quick, let's just make fun of some people in our chat real quick. Eric thought that Edge rejoined the Judgment Day. He's so silly. Come on, Eric, pay attention. This is why no one's joining your softball team, because you wanted us to be free agents. So he didn't want to put a team together. He wanted us all to join as free agents at the time and end up on the same team. Insane. But that being said, if you really want to pay me, because I truly deserve to be paid to play baseball. But John, I just use Peacock /WWE Network. James, what other streaming services do you use besides Bleacher Report, I guess, for AEW and stuff, right?
If this was just for wrestling,
I think he just meant for wrestling.
I was gonna say I use HBO Max, I use Disney Plus, and AEW might end up on HBO Max. Who knows? But I do New Japan World for all things New Japan, and BR Live for AEW pay-per-views and Ring of Honor pay-per-views, and Fightful occasionally, and we subscribe here at Mark It Down to Impact every month. Only $1. It's only $1, guys. That's I'm
not on these podcasts very often, but every time I do need to say, please watch Impact Wrestling. It is
be the Impact guy with me, man.
I need a partner. Good. It's so good.
Nick, you should come back on the podcast more. You should.
It is quite literally. It is literally a scheduling thing, because I have to be up for work the next day and I can't.
I mean, I understand, but work is bullshit, and they deserve you at your most tired, honestly. So
honestly,
work is temporary. Podcasts forever.
Yeah.
Honestly,
have you ever heard of a podcast shutting down?
Both of you have very good points.
There we go. End of sentence. All right, we've come to an agreement. Look at that. We'll be back next Monday.
This is the call up.
Hell yeah! I don't get it. Was that a reference to something?
Yeah. This is my cool dragon hand puppet.
Oh, that's pretty cool. I thought it was
llama.
I might get a cease and desist in the mail.
That's somebody else's gimmick.
But
gotcha. I thought you were referencing the first Spider-Man movie when he was trying to figure out how to shoot his webs, but that's my mistake. But I was about to end the show, but I realized James didn't give any of his opinions yet. So James, forget the match. Do you have any comments on the angle and just overall comments on the show?
The angle itself is super convoluted at this point. Just join Judgment Day or don't. I don't care anymore. Even like it I don't care.
He just doesn't fit.
I mean, anybody can transform and revitalize themselves.
Not Tom.
But I don't care anymore. And as for Raw, in general, loved it. Thought it was a great episode. Very excited for next week's Raw. There's an energy that wasn't there before. And I don't know if it's just because of the fans creating this energy. Like, all we needed today was, we were told that today was going to be a statement Raw. And in some ways, it did feel that way. I think it was a lot more subtle changes that I think are better in the long run than just giant shakeups that, like, from NXT to NXT 2.0. I'd rather see a gradual change here. But I will be tuning in again next week. I miss caring about Raw. I miss caring about WWE. And this is the first time in a long time that I could say I am genuinely excited for what's next.
I mean, it's hard not to be. And you know, great question though in our chat. NXT UK fast forwards are coming when exactly? See, Nick, you can film that whenever. You can film it at work in the break room. You know, you can go to the bathroom, take a dump, and film it in the afternoon.
I mean, it's probably only an hour of content every day. Hey, look, if we really need an NXT UK guy,
we found our man.
I will say it's probably the closest that we have to the black and gold, still on TV. You know, they're doing some really cool stuff over there. Meiko Satomura is a champion in WWE, and like nobody knows that, and it's kind of cool because she's another person that I think is probably like 46 years old. But I don't actually know.
Not doing a great job.
36 then.
Not doing a great job of selling this brand, Nick. Not gonna lie.
Yeah. It's great. It's fantastic. I mean, there's a couple of guys who used to do some cool like mustache twirls, and now they hate each other. There's who's even on that brand? Who's even on that brand anymore? They took all the people and they were like, NXT, you're gonna go there, and then now all of you are probably gonna be fired in a year.
That was depressing.
Or not. I don't know. We'll see.
Also,
find out on my first ever NXT UK review.
There you go. There we go. It's in the ether. It's promised. It's guaranteed. If we get to 90 subscribers, Nick is gonna do NXT UK fast forward. So there you go.
I'll release it along the same time as James's rap.
No, you got to do it a whole lot sooner.
That's 10 people before. Yeah,
it's 10
That's
people
10
before,
whole people before.
Okay, so here's the thing, guys. Right? You get to 9. We get to 90. Nick's gonna do UK fast forward. We get to 100. James is gonna rap. We get to 200. I'm gonna put out a really special passion project video that's gonna be just amazing. And since we got to 84 subscribers a while ago, I'm gonna real quick tell you guys about how James hurt his shoulder, which I promised weeks ago, but just never felt like the right time to do it. But now I'm gonna do it because the show's over, but you know, might as well do it.
I don't know if I've heard this one.
It's a great one. So me and James both live in the Bronx, more or less. He lives in City Island, but like it's the Bronx, but like it feels like it's not, but it is. And all right, we run into each other at a bar. I'm not gonna say a bar because I don't want us to get doxxed, even though I just said specifically that James lives in City Island. But
so Danny is drinking on City Island, confirmed.
Yeah, but I do bike ride to City Island a lot, so it's very
one of 3 bars.
Yeah, so I'm at this bar. I'm with a friend of mine, with a female friend of mine, and I bump into James. I'm like, "Oh my God, hey, you're the guy from the Market Down podcast." And then he turns to me, he's like, "Oh, you're the guy from the Raw Fast Forwards." And I'm like, "Yeah, I'm also on the podcast too." But yeah, I'm that guy. So we're talking and we catch up. But I'm with a friend, so I just say like a quick hello, and James takes it as like, "Oh, he's on a date with this girl." I'm not. It's literally just a female friend of mine, and we're just catching up and we're grabbing drinks. But James is like, I gotta be his wingman. I gotta Peter Avalon his shit. I need to make him look good. So he decides it would be a good idea. I guess he saw whatever Adam Sandler movie it was, Billy Madison maybe, and he was like, "I'm gonna try to steal the girl's purse, and then Danny could catch me, and I'll make him look like a hero. He'll look really good."
It's Mr. Deeds.
I was close, honestly. It was one of 3 possible movies, but he went to grab her purse, and all she did was grab it back, and James, almost like a cartoon, went flying. Like his feet came right out from under him. He didn't let go of the purse though, so it pulled on his shoulder, and he went down hard. And he now has to do rehab on his shoulder.
I need you to know we gained viewers as you were telling this story.
Yeah, this is fantastic. That's so great. Guys, thanks for being here at the end of the show.
This is a good story. This is a great story.
Yeah, and that's it. And it's funny, Eric, that you're not allowed to have female friends. Like, the female was your cousin, Eric. So just keep that in mind. But when you say
this
that,
story gets crazy real quick.
You know what? You know what's funny? Like, this story is actually less adventurous than the actual story. That's like the beauty of this.
that is the actual story. What are you talking about? That's what happened. And yeah, that was that. We all had a good laugh about it. Even James's doctor, when he told the story, had a good laugh about it.
I don't know. I feel like if I was the
within
girl
love.
in that situation and someone tried to like Mr. Deeds my purse, I'd be pretty pissed about it.
Yeah, I mean, who wouldn't be? But when the person, embarrasses themselves like that, you kind of get over it a little quicker than if they actually, got away with it or even got a few feet away with it. But this is clearly the truth. Thank you. The chat knows. The chat understands. But
Okay,
yeah,
we're wrapping up. It's been a night.
Whoa. Guys, we're wrapping up. It's been a night. Okay. This was great. Raw was great. It has us all in good spirits. We're all excited for the future. That's crazy. Join us on Wednesday when we review Dynamite. I'm sure we'll be relatively as optimistic. Who knows? But and check out Chad's NXT Fast Forward tomorrow. Check out Nick's NXT UK Fast Forward when we hit 90 subscribers.
That's got to hit the 9-0.
Check out James's Impact Fast Forward. That's 100% coming out on Thursday.
I recorded one. That's all I'm gonna say.
Yeah, no, that's it. That's all you have to say. And check out Rev's Friday night drinking vlog on Saturdays, not Fridays. Maybe I'll talk about wrestling. I don't know. I don't know what he's like on the weekends, but that was our show. Thank you so much for watching. I can't believe 7 of you are still here. This is ridiculous. You should not, even though a lot of that 7 is us, but I'm surprised any of us are still here. Everyone, go to sleep. Be nice to animals. Don't drink and drive. And don't Mr. Deeds people while they're out of the bar. Good night. Get off my YouTube. Bye.
Yep. I can't